Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for inviting me, for all being here, paying attention to the PowerPoint sheets and what the people have to say. I tried to make it my lecture today a little less academic, less on the figures, but talk more about practical interventions. I study effects of positive psychology interventions. So what are these types of interventions? Can I have the next one? These are interventions, one previous, aimed at increasing positive feelings, behaviors, and thoughts. And doing so by using pathways or strategies to increase well-being, which are based on theories and research. A mouthful of words. What this actually means that all the activities we do within positive psychology have been researched to see if they really work or if they not work. And if they don't work, if they're not effective, we throw them out. And if they work, they integrate it in the positive psychology interventions. Some interventions you probably know already, some may be new. And why is this, not yet actually, why is this important? I think one of the gentlemen there said, for suicide prevention, we need to reinstall hope in communities. And we need to learn people how to love life instead of thinking of the bad sides of life. So the focus in positive psychology is also focus on flourishing, focusing on hope, on the positive aspects of human behavior. One term that often comes across when talking about prevention is resilience. Resilience is the capacity to bounce back after negative events. People who are resilient, they are more likely to overcome problems. And what I did the past year is that we did an intervention called, can I have the next one? The Strong Mind Suriname program. This program was originally based on the Shell Resilience program. Shell is a major oil company in the Netherlands and worldwide, actually. They had a program, and they did that program in the Netherlands, in Italy, in the Philippines, in South Africa, also somewhere in South America, I believe. They did that all over the world with people, management people, and also oil drillers or people in the kitchen staff. So it's the intervention is accessible to anyone. We got that training, but we adapted it to the Surinamese culture, of course, because it's quite different, I think. What we did, we selected, the original program had about 10 sessions, and we went to talk with the people who were involved with the trial, with the companies, and we narrowed it down to 6 sessions, because 10 may be quite a lot. And then we changed some of the interventions. We put new interventions in it, new exercise in it. Then we had a group of 154 people. We divided them in one group who got the intervention right away, and the other one had to wait for a little while. Then we, with questionnaires, we measured the results. And after that, the people who waited got their training. And what was also important, the training was not only done by myself. I was with somebody else responsible for the educational part. Short, it was like 20 minutes I talked. But then afterwards, people did exercises. And for that, we trained local people. We trained people who were working in the companies, who knew the people, and who could, well, communicate better with them in their own language, in their own pace, I think. And this is a strong point of the program. It is done by the people itself. 6 sessions. So what were these sessions? Can I have the next one? The first session was called Grand Tangi. That's Surinamese for big thank you or gratitude. And in this session, after a short explanation of what being grateful, why it is good for you, and why does it contribute to your health, people got into the exercises. And the first exercise was that they were asked to simply write down three good things on paper, just on what comes into the mind, what is good about their life, what is good, what happened today or the day before that. This is a very simple exercise, but research studies show when you do this on a regular basis, like once a day, for a period of at least 30 days, it actually has an impact on the way you think. Because you become more focused on that, what is good in your life. And this may sound as a very simple exercise, but during the program, we saw, particularly it was interesting to see that women don't have any problem. Mostly they write down and because they're very in touch with their emotions. But the men, you saw them sitting down and they were like blocked. They couldn't, at that moment, it's like you really had to help them and ask them, you give them examples about good things, ask them things, and then they would finally start writing. So there was quite a big change in some people. And after that was, because in the beginning of a training, people were very close, they're sitting there with their arms like they don't know what to expect. After the first exercise, they were a little bit more open. And then we did an exercise called the gratitude ping pong. They would stand in a circle with each other, and we would have a happy, smiley ping pong ball, and they would toss it to each other, and then the person had to tell what they were grateful about. And this was actually, I think, one of the most strongest exercises, because you could really, if you're a little bit feeling the energy of the people, the attitude of the people start to open up and express true warm feelings towards each other. The atmosphere in the whole room changed from people being close, what is this, to a whole very positive atmosphere in the room. And then finally they had to write a gratitude letter. And this is a letter which they have to write. 5 minutes, so I cannot go all through all of them. The gratitude letter is where you express your gratitude to a person by a letter. You just thank a person who's dear to you but whom you never told about. Thank them, that person. And then when you get home, you go to that person and you read it out loud. And this has an amazing impact, because it's sometimes quite big step to do, but it truly increases not only your relationship with the person, but also your ability to get in touch with these positive feelings of yourself. Second week, we learned them how to express and how important positive emotions were, what kind of positive emotions there were, and why they can be stronger than negative emotions. What use is the third week, people learned to use their strength, identify the strength, their own strong points. And this was also an eye-opener for many people, because we had a list about 60 strengths. And people think, hey, I'm good at that also, and that, and that, and that. So that builds self-efficacy, that builds self-confidence. Goal setting, also very important, how to set goals, on what terms people should set goals to be effective. Positive thinking is making the switch from a negative mind view to a positive mind view. And the final intervention was on forgiveness and surrendering. And forgiveness is very important when dealing with suicidality, I think, because research studies show that if you improve forgiveness, if you let people let go of their anger, anger is a risk factor for suicidality. And surrendering is like surrendering your problems to a higher power. We actually taught people how to use prayer and to integrate all these positive affirmations into their daily prayers. So they not only do it in the session, but also do it in their homes when they do their prayer or their religious rituals. I don't want to talk about, this is the evidence that it works, but I'm not going to discuss that. We don't have time for that. And there are very many categories of positive activities. And if you want to implement an intervention, you can look at the population you have, the kind of people you're targeting, and see what the exercises, what interventions is best appropriate for that specific target area. The next one. why these positive psychological interventions, they were very, they're low threshold, meaning that they're very simple exercises. They're not about depression, anxiety, they're not really heavy. So people are quite open to it. It's about positivity, it's about hope, strength, and it's also non-stigmatizing. Next one, I'll skip that one also. And next one. This is very, I'm glad today we have such a mixed audience here, because the people we are trained, as well as the trainers, as well as the people who were trained. There were one was from a company, an electrical company. They make the architecture in buildings. So there's mostly men who just draw the cables. The other company were, in fact, people from healthcare, mostly women who work in medical healthcare supplies. And the biggest company was actually a bank, the Surinaamse Postbaarbank, which is the largest bank, one of the largest banks in Suriname. And the administrative staff were in the program. So it was a diverse mixture of people. And why any one of you can apply these positive psychology interventions with the patients. You don't need a PhD or a master in psychology or counselors. You just need the knowledge and some training, and you can apply these interventions directly to your patients, but also to your children or to your community. That makes it very accessible. And finally, one of the final steps, these activities allow for integration with religious and cultural activities, rituals, to have a better fit. So people can not only apply them in the mind, but also in the heart, and learn from it. I think that was about it. It's the last slide. No, the next one. And I think this also goes, positive psychology is more about feeling, about cognition. And when we think about intervention of kids, I heard before that children are not cognitively well developed enough, but they feel more, and they react more out of their impulses and their feelings. And positive psychology activities target more their feelings rather than the cognitions. And there have already been various programs, especially developed for kids, which are currently being implemented all over the world. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I hope that you gained some new knowledge, and I wish you very good luck with your important work at the clinics. Thank you.